of the Festival of the Moon, as you can see again behind us. And we've come to see part 2 of the Planetarium show. We didn't realise there were 2 different showings. So we've just got tickets to go see where they're walking on the moon.
Landing on where Neil Armstrong's landing on the...
Yeah, so we're going to go see what that's like, and hopefully, since the last Planetarium one that I filmed, I've learned how to use my iPhone a little bit better, so hopefully you'll be able to see most of it instead of just a black screen. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just fill the whole of this area. Right, what we're going to see is a movie called Capcom Go, and this movie was made this summer to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the moon landings, okay? I'll get started. Here we go.
It was the 16th of July, 1969. At Kennedy Space Center, Florida. On the launch pad was the biggest rocket ever built. Standing 111 meters tall and weighing almost 3,000 tons, this is the Saturn V. Inside the top, in a tiny metal capsule, are the astronauts of Apollo 11. Their names are Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. They will make the first attempt to land on the moon. 6, 5, 4, 3, 'After 3 days in space, the Apollo 11 astronauts began preparing to slow down and put the craft in orbit around the moon. Unfortunately, this maneuver had to be carried out on the far side of the moon, away from radio contact. A mistake at this time might send them crashing into the moon, or worse, speeding off into deep space with no hope of return.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. All your systems are looking good. Going around the corner, we'll see you on the other side.
The astronauts were on their own. There was nothing Mission Control could do but wait. The calculations were perfect to the second. Apollo 11 was now safely in orbit around the moon.
field football game and one on Capcom Go. That's for being here. Roger, we concur, and we certainly wish we could see it firsthand also.
It was now time. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin entered the lunar lander, ready to attempt the first ever moon landing. As they detach, Michael Collins is left alone in the main spacecraft. He knows there is a high likelihood that he will be making the return journey to Earth alone. There are three possible outcomes to their attempt. They will land, they will abort, or they will crash. Back in Mission Control, Flight Director Gene Kranz and his team monitor the progress of the landing craft.
Okay, all flight controllers, go for powered descent. Retro, go. Pilot, go. Guide, go. Control, go. Capcom, go. GNC, go. Ikson, go. Surgeon, go. Capcom, we're go for powered descent.
Eagle looking great, you're go. Like everything, go for landing, 3,000 feet.
An alarm sounds. Something is wrong with the computer. Mission Control must quickly decide whether to abort the mission. They choose to continue. Armstrong realizes that they are going to miss the planned landing site and are heading for a boulder field. He takes over control from the landing computer. All those hours of training come into play. Armstrong tries to find a flat landing site, but the lander is running out of fuel. When the clock gets to 0, they'll have to abort.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
For the next 2.5 hours, they took photographs, set out experiments, and collected different types of rock and soil to bring home. Apollo 11 revolutionized our relationship with space. We had now proved that we could go beyond Earth. We had taken our first steps to exploring the cosmos. When the 3 astronauts returned, they were celebrated by a changed world. They returned to Earth as heroes. Looking back, it seems incredible that all this was possible so long ago. But why have we never returned? Apollo proved that humans could get to the moon, but only for short visits, making exploration extremely expensive. The challenge, then, is that if we want to explore space, we must first learn how to live in space. On board this science laboratory, astronauts and scientists have been learning how to live in space for long periods. Their work is helping us to prepare for the next goal, not just to visit the moon for a few days like Apollo, but to live there and explore. We are still learning, but are tantalizingly close to real solutions. Soon, we'll need a new generation of people working together to plan our next great adventure into space. Are you ready? Are you ready for the next giant leap?
To all the other people that are listening and watching tonight, God bless you. Good night from Apollo 11.
Okay, folks, going to get a little bit bright, so just mind your eyes. There you go. So, thank you. I claim no credit at all. I'll tell the people down the National Space Centre you liked it. Okay. Yeah, there's a gentleman down there. He's a director. He's a fellow called Max Crow. And I started talking to him about that 2 years ago. He's made it, obviously not just for me, for a lot of other people. And but I started saying, I'd love this, and I'd love this, and I'd love this, and he made it exactly as I love it, which is great. So, right. If you're staying for the next session, please.
So we've just come out of that. Hopefully, the pictures a bit better. It looked better when I was filming it. I could see it more. What do you think of it?
Yeah, we're good, yeah.
Better than the first one, or?
I enjoyed that better than the first one.
Yeah. So we can get that uploaded to you and hopefully you like it. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.